Hello my fashion lovers, welcome to today's tutorial. On today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to make this lovely smoky gown. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, click on the notification bell to be notified anytime I post a new video. Like, comment, subscribe, and keep watching my videos. Let's go straight to the tutorial. So to start the tutorial, we are going to be cutting the down part of the dress, which is a gathered skirt. For the down part is a gathered skirt, and you are going to, for this measurement, I'll be taking 45 inches. 45 inches. I divided the waist measurement into two, front and back. So 45 inches will be for the front and 45 inches will be for the back. And you go ahead and gather the front and the back. And for the upper part is going to be an off shoulder, and we're going to smoke it. So we're going to add extra inches to smoke it, and I'll be taking away 5 from the measurements. The measurements I'm working with is 17 inches, and I'll be taking out 5 because it's an off shoulder dress, and the other I'll be adding 2 inches sewing allowance. And I've marked the armhole. The only measurement I'll be marking here is the armhole and the waist measurements. The armhole and the waist measurements. And on the neckline, you don't need to add too much allowance on the neckline. On the neckline, measure the neckline, and you can add 6 inches to it or 5 inches to the neckline. And from there, I'll take the bust measurement. Divide your bust measurement by 4, then add 10 inches to it. Whatever you get, add 10 inches to your measurement. That is the bust measurement. And for the waist measurement, divide your waist by 4, then add extra 10 inches to whatever you get. If you divide your waist by 4, whatever you get, add 10 inches to the measurements. Go ahead and connect. You connect the armhole. And you go ahead and cut. Go ahead and cut it out. And after cutting, you're going to smoke the upper parts using your smoky thread, which is like elastic. You can decide to mark out half inch, use half inch to smoke, or you can use 1 inch apart, 1 inch apart, or half inch apart, depending on how you want it to be. But on this one, I'll be taking 1 inch. I'll be taking 1 inch apart. So you go ahead and mark it. If you can eyeball it, you go ahead. But to achieve the straight line, you can go ahead and use your ruler and mark it out. Go ahead and mark out 1 inch. You can decide to use half inch. You can decide to take 1 inch. After marking 1 inch, you go ahead and rule it out. The lines will serve as a guide to where you're going to smoke, so that when you're smoking, you'll be following the lines as you're smoking. You go ahead and roll out the lines. And now to smoke the upper part, this is the thread. This thread will be the one to go under the machine. You go ahead and use your hand to roll it. And when you're rolling it, do not draw it. Do not draw it, just allow it to flow. Do not draw it, just keep rolling it with your hand. And you're going to put your normal thread on the machine. That will be the one on top. And the one you're rolling will be the one under. And the normal thread will be the one on top. Use your hand and roll it. And when you are done, you go ahead and sew it the way you sew your normal dress. Go ahead and following the lines that you marked, you go ahead and sew it. Like I told you, the normal thread will be the one on top of the machine. Just go ahead and stitch it down. And after sewing, this is what you're going to have for the front and back. The front and the back. I made the front and the back the same. And you go ahead and using your waist measurements, you're going to use your waist measurement to attach the upper part and the down part. You're going to make use of your waist measurements. And as you, because it's stretchy, make sure you stretch it out to be able to get your waist measurement for the front and the back. And now we're going to cut the sleeve the same way you cut your normal off-shoulder sleeve, but in this case, like I told you, you'll be adding 8 inches. You'll be adding 8 inches to the round sleeve measurements. To your round sleeve measurements, you'll be adding 8 inches to it. To your round sleeve measurements, and you go ahead and take the length of the sleeve that you want. And go ahead and impute the armhole. The armhole we're working with is 9. Go ahead and impute it. Your round sleeve measurement divided by 2, or whatever you took out. You took out 5 when you were cutting the upper part. You can add it, then add your 8 inches sewing allowance to the sleeve measurement, and you'll be cutting 2 of it. You'll be cutting 2 of it. You'll be cutting 2 of it. You can go ahead and put the armhole curve, or you can leave it the way it is. Now we are done with the joining of the upper part and the down part. You go ahead and put it together, join it together, stitch it by the side, and you go ahead and fix the sleeve. This is the sleeve. You go ahead and fix it on the armhole. And when you want to do the sewing, make sure you use the normal thread. You use the normal thread to sew. Go ahead and fix the armhole. Go ahead and fix the armhole. Join the 2 sides using your normal thread. You stitch it down the same way you fix your normal off shoulder sleeve. That is what you're going to do here. Then you go ahead and stitch it down. Stitch it down. And for the slits, after stitching it down, you can go ahead and open up the slits and stitch it down. And that is all I have for you today. If you have any question, please ask in the comment section. Like, subscribe, and keep watching my videos. See you next time.